Here we are.
Th- This is true. This is true. I'm
Maybe.
not ready for that yet.
I don't know. Maybe not. Might be great over there. There might be mozzarella sticks all the time. Just really all I'm looking for in this life, I guess.
How about Reese's? Do they have those too or no?
Yeah, of course. Of
Okay.
course.
All right,
That's
we're
the food
good.
of the
We're
gods
good.
themselves. Chocolate and peanut butter? It's fantastic. I was eating
Oh
the
my
I got one
goodness.
of those Easter rabbits I bought at the market the other day, the Peter rabbit one, because my mom used to always put those in my Easter baskets. And I rip the
Yes.
ears off and I scoop them in the peanut butter. It's delish.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Those are good. All right. So I am going to share out the link for today's live. So if you guys want to just bear with me, but Dustin is doing this really exciting tour, and I think he should tell you all about it.
Yes, I can do that. Thank you for the segue, Miss Williams, and the
You're
opportunity to
welcome.
peddle my wares. So, yeah, indeed, I've been practicing every day, and to the point that I almost lost my voice yesterday, which is not good. You don't want to lose your voice before you go on a speaking tour. But we'll be doing a we'll be doing a tour going to 34 locations here in America and two up in Canada. It's called Ghosts Do You Believe? You can get your tickets at ghostsdoyoubelieve.com. It's going to be a show in two acts. It's live in person at various theaters. And the first act of the show will be me talking about some of my own paranormal experiences, history of the paranormal, techniques that people have used, techniques that people have faked, a little bit of everything, and then we'll take a little break. Everybody will go off to the lobby and have themselves a snack. I will go back to the green room where I've requested. This was interesting because they asked me. I'm used to just being like low key at libraries and things, and they said, "What kind of snacks do you want backstage?" And I was like, "Well, I usually get those orange cupcakes from the gas station. If I could have those,"
Yeah.
and they're like, "What do you want?" Is it just those orange cupcakes? Like, let me show you what normal people ask for. And there's like, charcuterie boards and Brussels sprouts and all that. I'm like, I'm not a grown person, I guess. I just really want sugar snacks. But I put in some things in there to make me sound sophisticated, like coconut water and things like that. And so that'll be
You
nice.
said you want M&Ms, but only the blue ones.
Only the blue ones because they make me aroused. I like blue things.
Woo!
And I keep this on my desk too. Look, it's a blue Christmas light, the most magical of all
Oh,
Christmas lights. They also have the
it's
same
so
effect.
pretty.
Thank you. I keep it here in case I feel low. And then the second part of the show will be like a live question and answer session with audience members and stuff too. And we're going to use like a QR tag thing so people can submit their questions directly to us. And yeah,
That should be
and
fun.
do that. Yeah, do that like 38 times, and then it'll be June, and I'll be back home. So this is the longest road trip I've gone on since GHI. So I'm used to going like
Wow.
when we film now, it's like 2 weeks or so, But when we did, we used to do GHI. Like you remember, you'd be gone for like a month and a half, 2 months. So
Oh god, yeah.
this tour is just about 8 weeks. So I'll be out there for all that time. We leave this weekend, Friday after work, right after work to the airport and then to Fargo, where it's going to be tropically warm, and I will kick off the tour there. So get your tickets at ghostsdoyoubelieve.com. That's ghostsdoyoubelieve.com. And I will see you on the road. I shall do the song and the dance for you. It'd be
The
great.
song and the dance?
You're
They get
damn right.
both?
Yeah, well, I mean, I am a performer. I am the entertainer. You ever heard that? Like Billy Joel's song was great, but I heard a version recently. I was actually at Steve Gonzalez's house, and we were sitting there having a tasty beverage, and all of a sudden on the radio came. He's got like the speakers throughout the house. All of a sudden, Dolly Parton came on singing "The Entertainer." It was very powerful. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to add that to my
Oh,
playlist. I think I'll listen to it when I'm on the road. So it's very much a nice thing. But yeah, that's it. That's what I'll be doing. And then we're doing
okay.
stuff together, myself and television's Kris Williams here, along with
We
Mr.
are.
Chad Lindbergh from Fast and Furious and one of the new Star Trek series shows. We'll be out there at I almost said Queen Mary, but that's not it. It's a different boat. It's the USS Hornet. That's
See
where
if
it
a boat.
is. Yep, we're
And
going
if
to
you
have
call it a
boat.
boat, they'll get mad at you. It's a
Yeah,
ship.
we're going to have ship adventures, and we're going on the USS Hornet in Alameda, California, later this year. Is it June? I think I can't remember the date. I don't know where I am. but June or July, I don't know. Get your tickets though at
I
dustinparry.com
thought it was early September.
slash events. Maybe it's in September. The boat's not going anywhere. The ship will
One of
be
those
there.
things. Well, the
We
ship
will
could
be
go
there.
somewhere.
Well, I could, but hopefully
I
not.
mean, yeah,
Life's
hopefully
life's a
not.
mystery. Hopefully not. But yeah, so you can come and join us on the USS Hornet sometime in the near future. Just go to dustinparry.com/events and get yourself some tickets.
I don't know why I'm struggling so hard to post this stuff.
Well, there's gizmos and gadgets, and there's gremlins in the machine, and I had to do an update just to get on this thing today. Yeah, I don't like any of it. Oh, well, I hear they're
Is it
making a new
now?
Gremlins movie though, which will be fun. I went and see the we
No,
do
they're
have a topic.
not.
We'll get to the topic at some point. Yeah, apparently they're making a new Gremlins movie, I heard. I went to the new Ghostbusters movie the other night. Did you see that yet, Kris Williams?
No, how was
Oh,
that?
it was a wonderful good time. I shall give no spoilers, but I was about to go to the gymnasium as I normally do in the evening hours, and I was picked up my phone and I saw a notification about Ghostbusters. I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll go there tonight for like a little treat for myself before I go on the road."
Yeah,
And I checked because I don't like when it's too crowded because I don't really like a lot of people. So I checked the app and it showed there was only like 5 or 6 other people there, and I get to sit in the top row in the center. And I get the popcorn with all the extra butter, and they had it wasn't ecto cooler, but they did have a green icy drink with Slimer on it. So I bought that, and I had a wonderful time. There was plenty of nostalgia, which was nice. There was one part where they actually show like one of the '80s like toy commercials, so that was kind
yeah,
of cool. I really, really enjoyed it quite a bit, and I found myself noticing like the cinematography. Some scenes actually matched up like to the first movie. Like it was amazing, and at the end credits when they were playing the music, I was dancing a little bit in my seat. So I must have had a nice time. So that was good.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah,
Look,
I don't
we've
know
got
what's
lots
going
of
on
people
here.
here. August 10th,
We
John the
do.
Movie Guy. Look at John the Movie Guy. John the Movie Guy was at a lecture of mine recently that I was doing in Webster, Massachusetts. And we were talking about the lecture itself was about time. It's called How Soon Is Now. It's about how we perceive time, use time, misuse time, abuse time. And I mentioned I mentioned a scene about a study of time from the Odd Couple reboot, and I was like, I think they made like 8 episodes, and then John's like, no, I'm like, how many? And he knew they had 3 seasons, like right away, because that's the beauty of John the Movie Guy. He's got this type of knowledge where in my brain it's a lot of chaos, and so here he comes to the rescue to tell us when our USS Hornet event is August 10th.
It's August. Okay, it's August. I thought it was
Yeah.
September for some reason.
No. See, we're all screwed up. I was ahead, you were behind, but
Good
somewhere right in the
Lord.
middle, we're gonna make
Glad
magic happen.
somebody's got it figured out.
That's it. There's my boy Bendy saying how much he likes the extra butter. Yes, I like now that the theaters have it where you don't have to ask anymore. You don't have to look like some glutton. Like, could I have a little more butter? Maybe just a little bit more. How much more? Like, if I slide you a 5, will you put more butter? Now they just have the thing. Like, go
Oh,
fill
you
up with your
slide
own
the
butter.
money for more butter. I've never done
Well, I
that.
mean, I would do whatever it takes to get more butter, but now they
Okay.
just have the button over to the side. You can just go butter your own popcorn. And so by the time I was done, it was like a bag of soup. It was just like, here's your yellow buttery flavor with some kernels in it. So I enjoyed myself. It was good.
Sounds delicious.
It was. It was very nice. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Mike Brothers was recently at the Malvern Manor with Chad Lindbergh. I
I
saw his
saw
pictures from
that.
there. Yeah, we were at Malvern just last year. It's such a great place. Love it very,
It
very much.
is. Yeah, it was pretty
Hello,
cool.
Paulie Obertrink. Paulie's in the house. Darren in the house. What's the secret to my triceps? Lots of work and extra butter. You got it. Indeed. We're going to the gym after this. So,
Oh
a
my
balancing
goodness.
act.
Too
Kris
much.
Williams, are we posted all the things? Have we posted all the
My
things?
it's all fighting me, so we'll probably
That's all
just
right.
have to post it afterwards. But
Yeah,
I
post it
tried.
later.
I
We've got
tried.
we've got 38 people and 15
Woo,
thumbs
woo.
up in the house.
Ooh,
So let's just
15 thumbs already?
yeah, hot dog. People like stories about butter. So yes, indeed. That's a good thing.
Well, I know recently I tackled your I was gonna show it, but then I realized I already sent it out to the person. I tackled your haunted house's coloring book.
Oh yes, the spooky pages.
Yes,
Did
and
you have
during
fun?
it, Yeah, and during it, I was answering questions regarding the paranormal, and I asked people to comment on the video with their own personal experiences or their favorite paranormal location. And I was amazed by the number of people who kept bringing up orbs in photos.
People love them. They love
They
orbs.
love them.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it that maybe this was something we could tackle because it just is one of those weird things that I thought we squashed years ago for the most part.
Mhm.
But people seem to be really stuck on them still.
I think it comes from this, and we can discuss further, and we will. The legitimacy, if any, of orbs, or what the reality of it is. But I think most of us are already kind of schooled on it. But I think I've stumbled upon why so many people like to hold on to them, and we want to believe, right? Like we're in many ways, and this is actually coming a lot from my lecture for the tour. But make sure you still come see it. But I think in many ways we are afraid of death, right? We're trying to like starve off death. We're very concerned about our own human condition here, and sometimes those little things, like a picture of orbs, sure, dust or bugs, but picture of orbs that we want to believe are spiritual, make us feel a little bit better, make us feel a little warm and fuzzy, make us feel like maybe Nana's near us, maybe grandma came to visit in this form for some reason. And I think that when we see those pictures, because they're honestly like the easiest form of paranormal evidence to capture, right? Because
Yeah.
shake a curtain, take a picture in front of the sun, go outside in the snow or the rain. They're everywhere. But it makes people excited and they're easy
Yeah.
to capture. And then we say, oh, it looks a little different this one. We actually talk ourselves in to why this is paranormal activity. And I think a lot of it is just because we want to believe. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have belief, but again, it comes down to like our buddy Steve Gonzalez always says, like the tougher you are on the evidence, the better that evidence becomes. And so if you're willing to
Yeah.
just accept a picture in a dirty basement or an attic space with a bunch of little orbs in it, and you say, "Oh, look at all the ghosts," that makes you feel good. Like I'm not going to sit around and pee on your parade, but it's if you ask me honestly, I don't believe that to be true spirit manifestation in any way. But that's
Yeah.
just me, and those are my thoughts.
My thing is like I don't like being lied to. I never have. And because I don't like being lied to, I don't like lying to other people. And then it gets into this weird space where people want to believe so badly a bug in a photo is their dead grandma that I don't really know what to do with them half the time. Because
Yeah,
me personally, if I had a picture and I thought my grandmother was in it, I would much rather somebody be like, hey, that is a spider or a little mosquito or something. It's not your grandmother. I would much rather that than sit there and have like a framed photo of a bug glowing on my wall thinking it's grandma saying hello. I
right.
can't wrap my head around it. I just can't.
Yeah, it's tough. I was just noticing in the comments, and hello to our friends in Singapore, Steve from Singapore.
Hello.
But my buddy Dwayne mentions, like in order for an orb to maybe um, be something credible, it should have its own light source, right? So now,
Yeah.
if we're talking about that, like, I mean, obviously, people talk about ball lightning or some things that electricians have witnessed with electricity balls and those kind of things, small
Hmm.
little things. But, I saw a video once. I remember I was with Chris Fleming, Angel Boy Chris Fleming, who I really do adore. I think he's a great guy. We were doing a lecture tour together at some colleges, and I remember in the cafeteria eating, and he had a video of this older woman sitting on her bed, and there were orbs above her, and she would tell them to go one place or another, and the lights would move from one place to another. But they didn't look like our normal orb photos that people capture. They looked like these
Yeah.
like self-glowing kind of emanating thing. And I don't know what the heck they were, to be honest. But it at least gave me pause to think that maybe there could be something to this in some level. But again, I
Yeah.
think we're so overwhelmed and inundated with just dust and bugs and smoke and things like that, that it's not plausible, most of the time.
No.
So it's just easily, I think it's more easy to dismiss than anything else. Arc
Yeah.
Flash, thank you, Raider man. Yes, yes. That's the term I was trying to find before.
Yeah, I was looking a few things up online this morning and it was like, well, if it's a red orb, that means it's a demon, and if
Of
it's a
course.
blue one, that means it's an angel or your
Yes.
guardian angel. And I'm
Or
just reading this stuff like, where is this garbage coming from? You know, it makes me think of like, especially with photographs. Photographs are fussy. You know,
mhm,
you're in a dark room, you let a flash go in a camera, there's all little particles in the air, the flash is hitting it just perfectly for it to kind of blow out a little ball of light. Um, it, I don't know. It just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because the only time we ever really used a digital camera was to disprove the owner's claims of orbs. Because
right,
it was usually in a basement or is in an attic or is just in a freaking dusty ass house or an old building.
right.
And it was easy to get a gazillion of them without even trying.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
remember
also, if you
though
don't understand how a camera works, it's easy to read it wrong. And I was laughing about it today because you think of like all these kids that don't know how we used to get red eye in our pictures back in
yeah,
the day. They
because
probably
we're all
thought like they
possessed,
just, yeah, they probably thought they descended from a bunch of demonic overlords or something.
right? Indeed. It's interesting though too, because then I think back of like, I wasn't on the first half of the first season of Ghost Hunters. Like I was just like the original fanboy, like watching it from my house. But like they used to like take time to like watch the DVR and talk about the dust orbs and this and that and like show flight patterns and movement and airflow and all these things. But I mean, there's only so many
Yeah.
times you can show it and debunk it, before it's like, okay, this again. But some people, like I said, some people still like it, and I mean, I often will just tell people like, oh, it's really interesting that you think that. It's just not what I think, and that's okay. We can have different thoughts on it, but for me, it's just not a strong enough piece of evidence by itself, at least. If you can direct them, if you can get some EVP going with it to say that yes, I'm in this dust orb, then maybe. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I can find other things to do with my time.
And that's the thing too, is like, you know, one of the things Grant would always say is if you take a photo on an investigation and you're trying to read which direction the investigation is going through this one photograph, it's like trying to take one page out of an entire novel and figure out what that entire novel is about by that one
Right.
page. So
Yeah.
I don't like digital cameras for that reason, because at least with video, you can kind of see how whatever it is that showed up in the photo is moving. At least you can
Right.
tell if it's kind of going with some sort of air current or pattern or whatever, or if it looks like it's kind of moving around intelligently with some sort of purpose. But it's just like I can't stand the whole orb thing. Like I
I see a lot of
personally, I just
I see a lot of people that move around without any intelligence or any type of path. They just seem to bounce around this world. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing here, but I hope you're having a
this is
great time. It's very
this is
strange to watch.
true.
It's very
This is
strange.
true.
Um,
Have you
and
ever seen like an orb with your eyes?
no, I never.
Like ball of light.
No, never saw anything like that myself. I've heard stories of them, but I've never witnessed anything. The only thing that, and this is weird because I didn't really see a ball of light, but when Brian Hanwa and I were in the St. Augustine Lighthouse, the woman that we saw pacing on that top level, which I had my camera, but the IR was dying on it. So I know everybody knows the shadow figure that leans over. But if you remember the part where my camera is filming that top part, you see this white mist kind of moving back and forth. But we could actually see detail. We could see her curls in her hair. We could see the pleats in her dress. Brian had asked her to come down a level, and she actually descended a level. And then it was crazy because it looked like it collapsed into like a ball of light and went out the side of the lighthouse, and it all
That's
happened very,
wild.
very quick. But I wouldn't say it was an orb. It was just like almost like an energy field, like collapsing, what I assumed that would look like, and then just right out the side. So that's the only thing I ever saw that would be remotely close to a ball of energy or anything like that. But
It
it was.
makes me think of what we saw in the death tunnel at Waverly, because we had that ball of light, but it was on the floor and it looked like it was rolling.
I
But it
still
did the
think it was
same
a
thing. It
skunk,
collapsed.
ghost skunk.
The ghost skunk.
Yes, but it
But it
did. It
also
had
looked
that.
like it collapsed.
Yeah, it had like this rolling motion, and then it looked like it kind of like melted into the floor or something like that. Whatever the hell it was.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
still
That
like
was probably the
talk
weirdest thing I've
about, but
seen.
yeah, it is
But yeah,
strange.
yeah, I've never seen anything. that would fit what people say orbs are outside of photos, as far as
Yeah.
some something that's giving off its own light and moving around intelligently. Like I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of dust in photos though.
Yes, plenty of that for sure. I love that Raider Man is bringing up the Chinese weather balloons. Yes, that caused quite the kerfluffle as well. Dear Lord. Oh, there's so
Oh,
much weird stuff. I saw John also mentioned, and actually you commented on this a while ago, and I won't mention whose video it was that posted it because they're actually really good people, but a lot of it came out of this. Um,
yeah.
Spiders in front of cameras, specifically with ring
Yes.
cameras. Sometimes people refer to them as like spirit fireworks and things like that.
Yeah.
But if you take the time to look at it, and again, it's good to want to believe. It's great to ask questions, but we always have to look at the plausible explanation as well. And
Yeah.
a spider, many of us don't like to spend a lot of time at them. We don't like to be around them. We don't like to look at them. But when they're illuminated in IR, especially so close to a lens, as it like crawling across a security camera or a ring camera, they can look very spooky and very very strange. And it's like, what are these weird movements? And because the light's
Yep.
blowing out the detail, it looks a little different. But yes, also not to ghost unless you've killed the spider, and then it could be ghost spider.
They
Those are
can
the
also look huge. Like I remember one time we were on an investigation and it was, I think Britt was there and it was Amy and I, and we saw what looked like a little ball of light moving around on the camera, but then we figured out what it was, and it looked like it was getting closer. As it was getting closer to the lens, it was looking bigger. And we realized it was a spider with the way that it was moving. So then it was like, oh shit, we gotta get this thing off the, the camera. Who's gonna do
right.
it? It was kind of like a game of not it. But
Yeah,
I ended up going over there and the thing looked massive. But when you got there, it was this little teeny tiny tiny thing that you wouldn't even
yeah,
notice had it not
right,
been so close to a camera lens.
yeah.
But yeah, it looked like a monster. I was terrified.
It's a giant spider in hallway two. Somebody go get it away from the camera. Dear
Yeah, it
God.
was kind of
The
crazy.
Philippines had those. They had like, I remember they were like the size of my hand, like spiders
Yes.
crawling everything, and they were like jump, and I was like, why are they jumping? They're already spooky enough. You don't need to have access to jumping, but they did.
Oh,
Did not like that.
when I
And
was in Australia, they would get into our house and they'd be the size of your hand. And the crazy thing is if you had like a spider killer, some sort of raid or whatever, you'd
mhm.
have to spray these suckers until they've turned white with the spray before
Wow,
they'd slow down. Yeah, it was nasty.
that's a powerful bug. Oh, you just remind me. Remember they used to have that fake snow that you would spray on the windows for Christmas?
Yes.
Do they still make that? That was
Yes.
wonderful. I want
They
more of
do,
that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure when I was working at Michael's for a while, they had it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I thought it'd probably
Yeah.
like some type of carcinogen now, so we can't have it anymore. But I used to like that. You could use that to probably kill your spiders too. You could spray that on them, and then you're killing them with a little bit of
Possible.
Christmas cheer. That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. It's possible.
We all need a little Christmas right this
And Brett was asking, what is the best evidence each of you have ever gotten on an investigation? First one that comes to mind.
best
Best
evidence ever.
evidence. So not experience, evidence.
Um, well, I don't know. When I was with GHI, we get some really cool things in terms of like my favorite case was the Clark Air Base, and it wasn't just one thing of evidence. Like Clark Air Base was the only case I ever did where everything that the client mentioned actually happened while we were there. Like Barry and I witnessed
Yeah.
a white apparition moving around. We had audio of footsteps. We had EVPs of American soldiers talking to each other. We had recorded disembodied voices. It's the only place I've ever been in all my years doing this where everything that they said happened actually happened in the 3 nights that we were there. And for me, that will still be my favorite place. And I know maybe certain things like EVPs. It's funny because if you think it's still really remarkable that we have this ability to record these voices and these sounds, but just like anything else, when it becomes more commonplace, when you can capture EVPs more and more, and the more you do it, people just kind of like, oh yeah, it's another EVP. It's like we've got some type of communication from someone we can't see. That's still really cool,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that
It's
place
not
was
enough anymore
exciting.
though, because people have been
No.
so desensitized to
Yeah,
everything.
we want portals in the closet and demons in every house.
Well, one of the coolest pieces of evidence I ever got was it was with GHI as well. I think it was in the a dungeon of an old castle in Denmark. And it's funny too because in the US people be like, "Oh, we have a castle." It's like, "Okay." And
Yeah.
we have a dungeon. It's like it's a freaking basement. This is
Right.
not a dungeon and this is not a castle. This is the
Right.
US. It's
Yeah.
not the same. It's a mansion. That's it. But over there, this thing looked like something out of a storybook. And the dungeon was it was a lot. It was all stone, stone floor, stone walls, stone, stone, stone. No light coming in, no nothing. And usually I'm cool with going and getting equipment that's somewhere by itself, but this time it freaked me out and I was dumb enough to volunteer to go get the shit that was in the freaking dungeon. So it was one of those deals when I went down there, it was kind of like if you go into places that really kind of like creep you out and you're going to get shit by yourself, I have a way
Mhm.
of like doing my tunnel vision thing where it's like I'm only looking at the floor and I'm not looking around me. I don't have cameras, I don't have recorders, I've got nothing to do with this shit, so I'm not dealing with it. It's one of those
Right.
deals. So I went into the dungeon and I did that and I was following the electrical cord so I know how to get in and back out again. And we had several devices set up down there. We had one of those like movement cameras that kind of well, I don't know what those ones are called, where it comes up with like dots and stuff on the screen when something's moving.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know which ones you mean. Motion tracing ones,
Okay.
like
Yes,
outlines
we had one
the
of
whatever it
those.
sees. Yep.
And then we had a battery or we had a flashlight and we had an EMF detector and we had some other device and they're all on the floor. So you had the camera pointing at the flashlight, the EMF detector, and there's something else. Well, you see the flashlight just move, just slightly rock. The
Mhm.
camera picked it up. You could see it physically move, and at the same time, the EMF detector spiked. And that I thought was pretty cool because if you get one piece of evidence and it's acting kind of funny, like you're just kind of like, oh, okay. But if you've got several devices and they're all doing something, I
Right.
thought that was really cool. It was kind of harder to knock that one. Movement, spike. It was, that one was weird. And that place
Yeah.
creeped me out because one of the parts of the dungeon it was built like a triangle. And they said that when people would get stuck down there, they put him in this triangular room and they'd make it smaller by the day so they'd have like a bunch of people standing in there and they'd be standing upright to the point they couldn't move.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, it was creepy. You couldn't
Yeah.
see shit and you could hear bats flying around. I was not a fan of that one either, but
They sure knew how to torture people back in the day. They were very
yeah,
creative.
they did.
It's
Yeah, they did.
strange. Yeah, a lot
I
of
mean,
those
they didn't
GHI
have the
cases
internet.
are like that. Yeah, they had to do something. We'll put people in
They're
a room, and every
bored.
day we'll just make it a little smaller. It's like, what? Yeah.
What can we do today?
It was so insane. I remember a lot of the cases had weird stories of like people being walled up or this or that. It's like it's insane. Honorary
So
mention, by the way, 5 points to Gryffindor for the people that are mentioning that their house identifies as a castle or their castle identifies as a house. I suppose it's all on how you want to look at it. So yeah, why not? Enjoy the heck out of wherever you live. You can call it
oh,
whatever you want, so that's fine. That's all good. There was the Raider gentleman also asked, "Can your smartphone act as a EVP recorder?" And it absolutely can. Like, I mean, you're getting a different quality depending on the type of recorders that you get, but sometimes the junkiest recorders get some really good stuff.
and
I've
sometimes
captured
the
EVPs.
oldest ones.
The old ones are really good. I've
Yeah.
captured EVPs on my phone with just recording app, and then also with live picture. Where you hold it down and you get like a 3 or 4 second little burst. I've gotten voices just within that when I'm by myself, like in a haunted location, and go in to take a picture. I'm like, oh, I'll do a little live pictures, and you'll actually sometimes even get audio in there because you're recording video and audio. So you don't need to buy the most fanciest thing. You can use your phone. You can use some of the cheap recorders you can still get online, older ones. You could spend, $800,000 and buy the super whatever the hell that one is. I can't remember right now. You know which one I mean, the Panasonic DL, whatever. My brain's broken, but you know what I mean. And that one's scratchy and it sounds like hell, but there's something about it where you do get a lot of voices. So
Well, it's
But
funny too because we have what JTB airliner. He just said that he has a Zoom recorder and he's never gotten anything on it. And it's funny because I know that we went from these old school, just old junky little digital things,
yeah,
and then we moved from the Zoom, these big, heavy duty, expensive, can like record from all different angles. And I found that we had better luck on the older stuff, not to
yeah,
burst your bubble, JTB, because
right.
those things are expensive.
Yeah, no, I mean, we
Um,
still use them in GH currently, but like I like to have the old ones. And there was a case we did. I don't think it ever made it on air, this part, but like I used an old um, tape recorder that we had, like an analog tape recorder, just cassette tape. I was like, let me see what this does, with that had like an external mic and everything. It didn't capture anything that time, but there's a lot to be said about like tape transference or.
mhm.
But I really still think it comes down to like the investigator, the energy that you put out, the energy, how it interacts with the other spirits that may be there. So even you may have the best equipment out there, but if you don't match up right to whoever it is you're trying to speak to, I just think that connection doesn't happen. I think it transcends the medium of whatever technology you could be using.
Yeah. Let's see.
Da, 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 da. Mike says that he get a moaning sound on his phone at the Fairfield Infirmary. We've been there, right? Didn't we go
We
there?
have
Yeah, that place
Fairfield
is pretty crazy.
Infirmary.
We were
It's in
there with Lee and,
Ohio.
yeah. Yep, that was a
Yeah,
pretty
and
cool tour.
actually, we got a lot of chatter on our recorders there too in one of the rooms.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was the first floor.
I
Might have
think
been
you
the
may have
first
been on the
floor.
first floor, and you had Lee with you using the Panasonic one. You guys get quite a bit down there. So,
Yeah, and it was funny because what we would do is we take a handful of people and put them in one room, and the rest of us would stand out in the hall, and they'd go in there and they'd ask a few questions, and it was crazy because every time a group would come out, there'd be something,
yeah.
which doesn't happen very often.
No, 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 not very often at all, but that place was very,
No.
very active. PJ was asking if I'm going to be doing investigations on here instead of the Travel Channel. Currently, we're on hiatus from filming, so Kris and I just kind of developed this as a way to just kind of stay in touch with our friends and our fans and people that like our show or like us for some god unknown reason. But it's just kind of something fun for us to do. But we do have some
Yes.
plans. We were just talking about earlier tonight before the show about maybe kind of um, expanding upon this a little bit and maybe doing some events with some of our crew from the YouTube series. So we'll probably be doing some recording of that and putting that on here too. We have plans to do some little shorts and videos kind of weekly here. The weather hasn't
Mm.
cooperated for me because here in Rhode Island it's just been raining constantly. I've been trying to do video of the place where Kris and I met, and every time I go there, it's pouring rain and so windy. I'm like, this is just awful. It sounds awful. It looks awful, and I'm soaking wet. So I abandoned it until next time. It's like the building's
We've
not
been
going anywhere.
Yeah, we've been wanting to work on a video where we both sit down and talk about how we met and our first investigation, which was in Rhode Island. So he was going to get some footage of the
Can't do it.
place, the exterior, and everything. And then our second investigation together, I'm pretty sure, was the live show. And that was the first one we really got to work together on. And I've got a bunch of stuff from Waverly. So we're going to sit down and make an actual edited video explaining how we met and
So
all that
fancy.
fun stuff. But he just keeps getting shitty weather over there.
Maybe this Friday, because after I get out of work, before I go to the airport to leave for the tour, there is a little bit of time in between, and I have to go by there. So maybe if the weather is good, I can maybe get some of that video. We can put it together. Because if not, I'm going to be on the road for like 2 months. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be fun. That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
we would like to do some investigations together though, but we've been trying to figure out how to swing it because obviously this is not something that is paying our bills.
Mhm.
This is something we're doing for fun. And, just trying to figure out how we get ourselves to certain locations, considering we live on two sides of the country right now. So that's why we're thinking maybe we could put together small events somewhere. And then if we stay a second night, we could film something there for you guys on here as well. So kind of be throw the event to do the event because we like doing events, but also can help fund what we've got here as well. So we can
Further
do some,
adventures.
yes, more
Yeah,
adventures,
adventures. That
adventures
shall.
all around. But we
Yeah.
also we're talking about doing like little videos that kind of poke fun at some of the stuff within the field that we find ridiculous as well. We were throwing some ideas
Yeah, there's
around.
a lot of that, and we don't, and we're not gonna like. we're not ever trying to trash anybody or anything
No,
else. Like,
not
it's just
trash it.
yeah, there's just stuff that goes on in the field where, like, if you've investigated for more than a handful of times, you're like, this seems kind of suspect. So yeah, there's ways to have fun with things.
Yes.
There's different approaches for everybody, and that's okay. But some stuff is very
Mhm.
comical, so might as well
Yeah.
have fun with
Nothing
it.
should be off limits. At the end of the day, we're grown ass adults looking for dead people. Like
So
the
it's
dark.
this.
It should be kind of funny.
I've been asking myself this question recently, Miss Williams, and now you brought it up.
Yes.
What does the term "grown ass" exactly mean? Like, we've grown up to a point that our ass is full size. Because I saw a woman the
Maybe
other day at
mine
Dunkin'
is
yelling at
definitely
another
full
woman.
size. I'd like to downsize actually.
I saw some woman screaming at another woman working at Dunkin' Donuts, and she was like clapping her hands and pointing at her and said, "I'm a grown ass woman. You put respect on my name." And I'm like, "What does her ass have to do with it?" I'm very confused. And I keep hearing this term more and more. I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown ass this. I'm like, I'm all about the posterior. I like big butts, and I also cannot lie. But I'm just not sure what that has to do with growing up.
Maybe it just means we've grown to a point our asses couldn't get any bigger. I mean, I
That's
hope
it.
that's the case because I don't want to go bigger. I'd like to downsize.
Full ass size. And then as you get older, the ass gets smaller, like rings on a tree. The older you get, the
No.
bigger the ass, and then as you get older and about to die, it gets smaller and withers away.
Yeah, see, no, that's not a problem. It's like part of my genetics. It's called the Williams curse. We have booties in my family.
Well, I mean, depends who you're talking to. That might be a blessing, you know. So we started talking about orbs, and now we're on to butts. That's the
I
way
know,
the
and I
show
don't know
goes.
because usually orbs bring up a different topic of another body part,
Yeah,
which
lady balconies.
how
Those are the
lady
best. Lady
balconies.
balconies. Nice
I
orbs,
can't
babe.
say I've heard that one before.
That's one of my favorite terms for them. That was the first joke I knew when I was a child. I went to kindergarten with one joke in my arsenal to impress the other children. And it was a joke my mother taught me. What kind of bees don't bite? Boobies. That was the joke. And
Oh,
that's what I told the other kids. And then I had to talk to the teacher. And
oh.
apparently they frowned upon that type of blue humor in
Well,
kindergarten.
your mom did it. She started
She
it.
told me. I didn't know. I thought it was totally appropriate to say those kind of things. So
Steven says the famous ass shot. So
there's a video about
I
that I saw recently, like advertised somewhere.
the famous ass shot?
Yes, about
What are you talking
you. I
about
understand.
me?
I was
No,
yeah.
no. There's a video called the crotch shot that I
Oh, is
was
that what
in.
it was? Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
was complaining because all right, so back in the early days of GH, it seemed like anytime myself or another female investigator were walking upstairs, our asses would take up the entire screen. It was like, here's our asses. But if you guys were walking upstairs, what you'd get was the back of your shoes or shoulders to head, like the back of your shoulders head.
Because
But
we're
for
not
us, it's like
grown ass. Men.
butt, huh?
We're not grown ass men. That was the problem.
No, apparently not. But
Yeah.
I guess our asses were grown enough that it took up the entire television
We
screen.
needed we needed ratings, Kris Williams.
I
Somebody had to
guess.
watch the show.
Good Lord. That goes back to the genetics. I guess I was blessed. But there was one episode where I had one of remember the orange, like,
Oh, the spools,
wire.
the cable spools. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had that kind of like balance on my hip or something, and I was reeling it like the wires in, but they had like a close up on my crotch. So Jay had filmed me talking about the crotch shot, and he put it on. It's on YouTube. Me talking about the crotch shot.
There it
And
is.
he's like, "So how do you feel?" I'm like, "I feel so violated." But it was like every week my ass was like. Amy and I used to joke that at the opening credits they shouldn't show our faces, like our asses. It should be
With your
ass,
name.
Kris Williams, ass, Amy Bruni. But
Well,
yeah,
people like that type of stuff.
we did find a way around it though. After a while, what we do is if we walked upstairs, we put our IR camera behind us so that the
Oh,
IR was pointing straight out and it blow out their cameras.
I see. I don't
Yeah.
think it was ever done maliciously. I think it was just, it's just the way it happened.
I think it was like, hey, get the girls' butts on the show because
You
we've
think that
already got
was
enough ladies watching for the men. We gotta give their husbands something to look at. I
you
think
think
that's
that was
what
like a
it
production
was.
note that was like told to the camera ops, like get more of this?
Yes, because I never saw any J butt or Grant butt or you butt. Why didn't you guys show your booties? You could have
I,
shaken it for the ladies.
I think my talents lie more in the bicep tricep region. I don't do any gluteal
Oh,
workout. So,
okay.
yeah, I think that's probably it. It's my fault. I apologize.
You should have taken some of the workload for us,
Yeah,
Dustin.
I'll work harder at it. I'm going to the gym after this. I'll do some of those squats and things. Work
Oh
on that.
man,
Yeah, indeed.
too funny. Too funny.
This is
Yeah,
where the show goes eventually, every
this
time.
seems to be where it always goes. That's
Yeah.
okay though.
Our next one will be Allie the snowman and her friend. She's saying naughty things. Now she's gone. There you go. I was
Yeah, I
excited
got
because
her.
it's snowman because I like this. Look, he is a candy dispenser from the
Snowman.
1950s, and you don't get to see them much anymore. If you do, usually the little pipes are snapped off. So this, I get this from an antiquity store. Yes, it's nice. I enjoy that. That's good.
Harassment. There we
These
go.
are the things that I like. I'm very simple.
There we go. Butt hunter.
Project Prox Dixon wants to get himself a little shout out. There you go. What
We've
is this channel about, Condi B? We're trying to figure it out ourselves.
We do
We're,
have a general idea. So right now we're doing
yeah, we've got some
lives,
things going
but
on.
we do plan on putting up like mini videos and just some silly things that kind of poke fun at the paranormal in a fun way, not a trashing it way.
Right.
And we also want to get to a point where we can do investigations and share them with you guys. We were talking about this earlier, where maybe we'll set up an investigation somewhere as an event, so that way it'll give us, you know, the ability to get out there and then maybe stay a second night so we can film something there for you guys as well. Um, and we also had an angle to this that we really liked because the paranormal, you're just so death focused. Everything's about death. Everything's about trying to communicate with somebody who's dead. Like it's just
Right.
it can kind of get depressing. So one of the things that we really liked was the idea of people who had a rebellious spirit in life. So it's finding a really cool story who about somebody who lived at one point. They might not necessarily be around now, but then sharing what they did in life that was rebellious in spirit while they're alive.
So
But
those are more of the stories that we're kind of developing for the format of the show. We're just kind of finding our footing with it and just having some fun with it until then. But there will be some shorts. There will be, as Kris mentioned, we're making a video of Sprague Mansion, and then also with some stuff from Waverly in there. So that'll be coming. And then I'm going to be on the road for our next one. So I'm not sure. Kris and I will figure out a schedule for it. But I will be on the road doing the Ghosts Do You Believe tour, so that'll be our next episode. And then also, if you follow my own YouTube channel, which is just slash Dustin Pari, or if you're one of my Patreon members or Instagram subscribers, I'm going to be doing a lot of behind the scenes things from the tour as well. Because listen, every venue, every theater supposedly has a ghost. So I mean, I might as well look into it while I'm there. So I'll be
might as
doing some of
well.
that. Yeah, eating my M&Ms backstage, my orange cupcakes, looking for ghosts. That's the
The other thing
plan.
we the other thing we could do occasionally too is like, let's say there's a question that we get asked a lot. We could do a video that just focuses on that one, answering that one question too. It could be a nice little quick short video that we could throw up, but at least then you guys would have one full explanation rather than just little bits
Yeah,
here and there having to dig through an entire live
right. To find the answers.
to
You
find
ask
the
the
answer.
questions, we'll give the answers. Maybe we'll just call it the answers. With Kris Williams, Dustin Pari.
To the best of our
I'd
ability.
watch that. Yeah,
You won?
absolutely. Some answers.
Oh,
I'd like to do that. Thank you
me
guys all for
too.
your kindness and your nice words down there. And Condi, thanks for subbing along with us. And I think we'll have a lot of fun.
Mhm. Yeah. If there's anything you guys would like to see us tackle too, let us know because we're always open to suggestions. Yes. 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 Thank you. Thank you. Well, is
Um,
that it for tonight, mister?
I think that's it, my lady. I need to get myself over to the gymnasium, and then I have to take out the trash and the recycling, finish the dishes, fold the laundry.
You are living the life.
Oh yes, Hollywood movie star. Look at me live.
So
I don't
glamorous.
I don't sleep a lot, but yeah. By the way, trying to pack again for 8 weeks on the road, it's been a long
Oh,
time for that, and it's different
man.
now because now like I'm putting in things like fiber pills and like probiotics. I'm like, how
Oh,
old did I
no.
get? This hurts. It hurts
Head
to
game.
pack. Thank God, but it'll be an adventure. Hot
Oh,
dog.
Lordy.
But all
Such a
right, my
dork.
friends. I wish you all a very nice evening.
Yes, you guys have a great week, and we will get back to you with a date for the next one next month, and hopefully we'll get a couple of little videos up as well soon.
All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a good night.
All right, night.